Alright everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So like I promised in the channel update video last week, we are getting back to the read-throughs and stuff this week. So like I mentioned, we're going to go back to the regularly scheduled rotation, so to speak. So we're getting back to Black Hammer, Battle Angel, Alita, as well as Bride Story. But beyond that, like I also said in those videos, we're also going to get around to the next couple of volumes of Yona of the Dawn, as well as the next volume of Monstrous as well. So the plan for this weekend is to cover the 2 volumes of Yona that have come out, along with Black Hammer and Battle Angel Alita. So yeah, a lot to look forward to this weekend. So if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said, for the new year, I've set an ambitious new goal of trying to reach 420 subscribers, because funny number. But it'd be really great, and I really appreciate it a lot if you all would help me get as close to that goal as possible, I guess. But yeah, lots to look forward to, looking back to diving into this stuff again. So without further ado, let us get back into it with Black Hammer. I'm really looking forward to diving back into this. As we have one with the walkie-talkie. Don't know if we got an issue number for this one. I guess issue 9. But we have a startling new adventure beyond the stars. So you have Deep Space, the Osler star system long ago. The Ballad of Talkie Walkie. You have the Osler star system long ago. And we have a priority 1 mission. Come in, Colonel Weird. Colonel Weird! Is the Colonel Randall Weird here, Mission Control? I'm reading you loud and clear, over. So, Colonel, we just received a distress beacon from an uncharted planet not far from your current location. It's like, distress beacon? From whom? It's like, well, that's why it's weird. Christ. That's why it's weird. Our sensors show that there's no sentient life on that planet, so it makes no sense. It's like, sounds like my kind of mystery in space. I'll check it out, Mission Control. It's like, tell Eve I won't be home for Valentine's Day after all, but I'll make it up to her. You have, and soon. And a ping and a kizz. It's like, I'm doing a perimeter sweep, Mission Control, and you see him walking on this planet with like all these like bulbous like protrusions, like almost like mushroom like protrusions. Not like a mushroom, like, you know, like the little filial things. No, what the hell is it? Like in your intestine, like little things they're supposed to be. It looks very much like that, like little protrusions. And he's like, what was that, Control? It's like, you seem to be breaking up. It's like, better think quick, Randy, or won't which be this Valentine's Day you'll be missing. And so it's like this magenta like lightning cracking and zapping through the air. You have so far no sign of any trouble. The distress beacon is getting stronger though. Okay, I've lost the beacon and I seem to have lost you, Control. Some strange radio waves around here. It's like, sorry, yeah, so it looks like, I hate when this, let me see if I can change this page being split into 2, like this is kind of messing up my flow. Let's try this and see if we can get that. I wish there was an easier way to see this, but apparently not. But yeah, so he lands and he goes like, so far, so I'll start from the beginning again. He's like, oh, I lost the flow. He goes, and soon he's like, I'm doing perimeter sweep, Mission Control. He's like, so far, no sign of any trouble. The distress beacon is getting stronger, though. He's like, what was that, Control? You seem to be breaking up. He's like, okay, as his radio just kind of like zaps and fizzles out. He's like, okay, I've lost the beacon and I seem to have lost you, Control. Some strange radio waves around here. You sure there's no sentient life on this planet? It's like, rings of Saturn, I'm under attack! And you see Tazak as a magenta like lightning beam zaps the little controller speaker out of his, or the radio out of his hand. And so like Weird dives to the ground. It's like all these bolts of like electricity arcing through the air. It's like, better think quick, Randy, or it won't just be this Valentine's Day you'll be missing. Jeff, halt, organic life form. Lower your weapon or you will be vaporized. He's like, what the blue blazes? It's like, no carbon-based life forms are allowed on our planet. You are trespassing. And you see like this cadre of like these fucking weird ass looking robots with like horns, like one's a monkey. Oh, I just love these designs. It's like, he looks like a dumb rag of meat. Zap him, boss! He's like, I'll show you a bag of meat, you robot ape. God, I'm already coming up with so many good titles for this video. And you see a clack as he zaps the monkey robot with his little laser beam. He's like, I'm outnumbered. I have to get back to the ship. And And you see him just like running away down this plaza, like being chased by the robots. It's like, no wonder Mission Control didn't sense any life forms down here. They're only looking for organic life. There's no telling how many of these crazed robots there are. It's like, oh no, I've gotten turned around. I have no choice. I'll have to make a stand, as he comes like screeching to a halt at the cliff edge. They're like, drop your weapon. You have no chance against us all, flesh thing. It's like, maybe not, but I'm not going down without a fight. It's like, what the? And you see walkie-talkie, like this spaceship looks almost like a manta ray with like these curved little wings coming up with a hurry, they will kill you. And you see as they're firing more blasts at him, he's just like leaping towards the spaceship. It's like, who are you? Why are you helping me? It's like, no time for introductions now, human. And as he grabs on, they take off. It's like, well, whoever you are, I have the feeling this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. God. You see back at the Black Hammer farm you have now, as Colonel Weird's just like finished blasting talkie-walkie. He's like, Colonel is like, what is? He's like, I'm so sorry, talkie-walkie. He's like, why did you shoot? And he's like, shh, don't try to speak, old friend. It'll all be over soon. He's like, do not understand. It's like, I know you don't. How could you? But you need to know I would never have hurt you if I'd had any other choice. You have been so good to me. The best friend I have ever had. And you see, god damn, man. And you see Colonel Weird just like grabbing his head and just like crushing it with a zact. And he goes, or no, is he crashing or is he just like twisting it like to break the neck? He's like, goodbye, Talkie. You see him like dissipating back into the other dimension as the lights on Talkie's like face armor go out. And then we flash back to the rescuer's like, hold on. It's like, that was a close one. Thanks for the save. What do I call you anyway? He's like, my name is, he goes TLK-E and then WLK-E. It's like, talkie-walkie? It's like, no, TLK-E, WLK-E. Like, that's what I said, talkie-walkie. It's like, your human tongue cannot quite get the subtlety of the inflection. Never mind, we have more pressing matters to deal with. He's like, oh damn, we've been hit! Oh no, sorry, oh dear, we've been hit! As you see one of the magenta like lightning bolts strack with a Shrek hitting their little spaceship. It's like, brace for impact, we're going down! And you see them landing with a crash. And you have human male, wake up! He's like, Eve? He's like, what? Where? It's like, you must get up! They're coming! It's like, ouch! It's like, not exactly a smooth landing. Sorry, I got something stuck in my tongue. It's like, I believe you have sustained no life-threatening injuries. My airship is no longer functional, though. We will have to continue on foot. And he's like, I have a ship, a spacecraft. If we can find it, we can get off this crazy killer robo world. It's like, yes, my sensors have located it. If we hurry, we can make it. But the others will be headed that way as well. It's like, then lead the way, walkie-talkie. He's like, it is TLK-E, WLK-E. He's like, oh right, talkie-walkie, sorry. It's like, not talkie. He's like, oh, never mind. And you see just like this little montage of like all their adventures. Like, so why are you helping me anyway? Seems like the other bots on this planet hate humans. It's like, yes, well, I've never been much like the other robots, human male. It's like, the name's Weird. Colonel Randall Weird. It's like, Colonel Weird, it's very nice to meet you. You are the first non-silicon-based life form I have met, though I'm quite familiar with your planet and your culture. In fact, that is why I sent the distress call into deep space. I was hoping one of your kind would hear and find me here. It's like, you sent the distress call? It's like, of course, but how do you know about Earth? It's like, I watch a lot of television. It's like, good one, Talkie. It's like, but really, how do you know about Earth? It's like, I am quite serious, Colonel Randall Weird. I do, in fact, watch a lot of television. And he goes, that is New Technopolis. That is where I live along with all the other robots that inhabit this world. But unlike the others, I've always been curious. They all are perfectly content to just stay here, but I've always longed to see what else is out there. So I have developed a deep space probe satellite that I launched into orbit to look for other signs of life. My probes picked up television signals from your planet and broadcast them back here to me. Through them, I learned much about humankind and your world. I long to go there and to escape this mundane robo-dictatorship. Will you take me with you, Colonel Randall Weird? And you see you in the Black Hammer farm with a now in a shriek. As Colonel just phases into this dimension, and Lucy just lets out a scream. She's like, "Colonel, you startled me!" He's like, I apologize, Lucy. I did not mean to scare you. I did not know you would be down here. And he's like, I was just going through all of this old stuff you guys have stored down here. Looking for any kind of clues about where we are, I guess. So what are you doing down here, Colonel? He's like, oh, I come down here to think sometimes. He's like, really? Down here? It's like, yes, it is quiet. It's like, yeah, I guess it is. So what's got you thinking today, Colonel? What's on your mind? He's like, have you ever had to say goodbye to a good friend, Lucy? It's like, sure, people move away, life goes on. It's like, yes, it does. In the Parazone, past and future live side by side. I know what happens next. I know there is no finality. Not really. And yet, it's like, wait, are you saying that when you go to the Parazone you can see the future? That you know what will happen to all of us? He's like, I may have said too much. The things I have seen are very hard to explain. He's like, whoa, hold on. Do you know if and how we get out of here? Do you know how we get off the farm? He's like, I cannot tell you that. This conversation is about to end. It's like, no way, you don't get off that easy. If you know something... And he says he's phasing out. He's like, I have seen this conversation. It does not end in a satisfying way for you, Lucy. I'm sorry. And she's like, Colonel! As he phases out and back outside the farmhouse again with a shrack. And he thinks back to, with Talkie Walkie being like, will you take me with you, Colonel Weird? He's like, I am sorry, Talkie. He's like, Colonel? He thinks back to when he shot him. And he's just like clutching his head as he's like running away. He's like, please, oh please, will you take me away with you? It's like, well, I don't know, Talkie Walkie. There are protocols when dealing with new... It's like, Colonel, I cannot bear another moment living in seclusion here. I long for freedom and adventure. And you see as he pulls the gun on him, he's like, no offense, Talkie. He's like the army of robots like coming over the horizon. He's like, but you better move. As he like pulls him behind, he's like, get down. It's like, Talkie Walkie, you traitor. You will be reprogrammed for this. It's like, run, Talkie, this way. It's like, well, you said you wanted adventure, Talkie. You stick with me and I think you'll get your wish. It's like, does that mean you'll take me to Earth? He's like, Earth? Why stop at Earth, Talkie, when we have the entire universe to explore? And you see, with the push of the button, with the shoom as the rocket ship takes off. I think I really love what the Black Hammer is, like all the different art styles and things they use to kind of like try to emulate like the old school comics and everything. Oh, it's so good. And you see with the kzt back with the Talkie Walkies thing. As you have kzt as like in this old looking is that the spaceship, like the abandoned spaceship? Like you see like this old control panel like lighting up with a red light. And you have kzt, hello? Hello, Colonel? Anyone? Is anybody there? Please, anybody. Can you hear me? Where am I? And yeah, so you see the Colonel's old spaceship like abandoned floating in space with this red light just emanating out of it. We have a Black Hammer issue 10 with Abraham Slam gets extreme. You see where like these spiked shoulder pads, like this utility belt, like all these little pockets and things around him. You have in Spiral City, you have knock knock, anyone home? It's like Abraham Slam, always good to see you. It's like, so, is it ready? And you see like this goatee, like mustachioed guy with like this red hair. It's like, it is, but it's like, what? Is something wrong? It's like, no, it came together all right. It's just, well, I've made a lot of costumes for a lot of heroes, but I never thought I'd make something like this for you. It's like, I gotta keep up with the times, Smith. It's like, I guess so. It's like, here's the first payment. Sorry, I can't get it all to you right away. The gym has been a bit slow lately. It's like, it's all right. It's all, sorry, tripping over my tongue here. It's all right, Abe. I know you're good for it. I mean, if I can't trust Abraham Slam, who can I trust, right? It's like, you said it, Metalsmith, and thanks again. You see him walking off with his new outfit as he's sitting on the little bench in his Spiral City boxing gym, going, gotta keep up with the times. And you see a bah! I see him in the current day as he's feeding all his goats. He's like, hush now, I already fed you. Did you have Lucy? It's like, Abe, Walkie, I think she's damaged really badly. It's like, careful. And you see Abe just like lifting her up and putting her onto a table to examine her. It's like, you found her like this? It's like, yes, I got up early to do some writing and I came out to see if she'd... It's like, if she what? It's like, Walkie and I talked yesterday. We were thinking about a new way of maybe getting off the farm. She was excited about it and got to work, so I left her alone. Abe, this isn't the only strange thing I've found since I got here. He's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I spent some time at the library yesterday. Every book about the town's history was blank. It's like, blank? What does that matter? It's like, what does it matter? Abe, don't you find that just a little odd? I mean, this whole place is odd. You're all prisoners here and you seem to have stopped looking for a way out, or even asking the most obvious questions. It's like, we are not prisoners. This is no jail, Lucy. There's nothing wrong with this place. Now you will excuse me, I have to find the Colonel, so we can see what's wrong with Talkie Walkie. He's like, huh. I see back at the diner with, I ordered no cheese. And Tammy's like, yeah, well, you're getting cheese today, Caleb. It's too damn busy in here and I'm working my tail off. And you see Sheriff coming in with, oh, great, just what I need. He's like, a word, Tammy. It's a little busy right now, Earl. You'll have to come back later. It's like, now, Tammy. He takes her into the kitchen and goes, take a break, Floyd. And she's like, you can't just come in here and order my staff about like you own the place, Earl. It's like, why not? My damn alimony payments pay for the place. It's like, what do you want, Earl? It's like, I see you had yourself a little dinner party the other night. He's like, have you been following me? It's like, it's my job to patrol this town, Tammy. He's like, how dare you sleep around? Our divorce isn't even final yet. You're still my wife. It's like, don't care if we have papers that say so or not. I haven't been your wife for a long time, Earl. It's like, believing that makes it easier for you to slut around with that old bastard? He's like, asshole, and she's about to slap him, and he grabs her arm. He's like, don't want to do that. You hit me, I promise you this. I'll hit you back a whole lot harder. I hope this asshole gets his lights punched out. And you see later that night as Barbelion's dropping by the priest's house. He's like, Mark, is everything all right? He's like, yes, sorry, I thought maybe I'd take you up on that offer of a drink. It's like, I bought really cheap wine. And he's like, how could I refuse an offer like that? And you see as he's gone inside, like, so, and forgive me if this is being too nosy, but what do you do exactly, Mark? And he's like, do? It's like, well, I know your Uncle Abe farms, but... It's like, oh, well, it's a bit embarrassing, but I actually inherited a lot of money from my own parents when they passed, so... Ah, I see. So you're independent and single. I was like, yes. Nothing to be embarrassed about, Mark. I just wondered, well, I wondered what you wanted. It's like, wanted? In life? Again, I know I'm being nosy. It's my sin. I can't help myself. You don't have to work, but you must have ambitions. You don't strike me as lazy. It's like, let's say lethargic. So tell me, Mark, what do you want? Well, I think that's why I'm so glad we've become friends. I felt a bit aimless for quite a while, to be honest. But when I'm with you, I feel myself again. You see him just like gently like putting his hand on top of Priest Rose. And he just retracts like, Mark, what are you doing? I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression, Mark. It's like, I think it's best. God, man, we're just never going to have happy stuff happen, huh? It's like, I think it's best if you leave. He's like, wait a minute, you can't do this. It's like, excuse me? It's like, you can't pretend you're not interested in me. I mean, you invited me over and... It's like, I thought you needed a friend, Mark. A friend. It's like, I do need a friend, and so do you. I understand if you're scared. I was too. He's like, please leave, Mark. Oh, come on, man. You see poor Barbarian just like walking out all dejected. And you see then that night Abraham also looking dejected, walking to the diner, walking through the town. As you have another flashback to like this giant like Sandman swamp thing looking monster going, "Grah! Mudmaster is hungry!" It's like, "Oh shit, blim blim blim!" It's like, "Over here, you big ball of goop." Sorry. And you see Abraham with like his new outfit, like all padded out, like new utility belt, like utility things around his legs, like looking like a football player with like these little wings on his helmet. It's like, "If you're hungry, I got a knuckle sandwich with your name on it, slime ball." And the cops were like, "Is that Abraham Slam?" And he said, "Grow!" As this Mudmaster just like slams his hand down. Driven, ugh! What the fuck is this armor all just falling off? And you have a ping as like one of his like arm shoulder patches comes loose. He's like, "Ah, crap!" And another one comes loose as well. It's like, "Mudmaster gonna eat you, old man." And you see a Shrek as there's like a lightning bolt that strikes it through the head. He's like, "Step aside, Gramps. Y-Force can handle this." Jeff, "Don't be rude, Animosity. That's Abraham Slam. He's OG." Christ. Oh, this is gold. This is such gold. He's like, "Y-Force?" He's like, "Yeah, you know, it stands for like Youth Force." It's like, "Wonderful. Isn't it past your bedtime?" He's like, "Is that really you, Abraham Slam? What's with the get-up?" It's like, "Nothing's with the get-up, just trying something new." It's like, "I had this under control." It's like, really?" And you see him like trying to put his shoulder pad armor back on. It's like, "Yes, really. I just need to get a bit more used to the costume. I was about to turn the tables on him." It's like, Christ, as like the armor just peels off again. And you see one of the masked guys just snickering. And they're like, "Listen, Mr. Slam, do you want us to drop you off somewhere on our way back to Y Tower? I can carry you as we fly." It's like, "I don't need you to carry me anywhere, young lady." It's like, "Sorry, I was just trying to help." It's like, "I don't need your help." And you see him just like angrily going back to the gym as he takes off all his armor. It's like, "Stupid old man. You embarrassed yourself out there. Face it, it's over." And he just throws his new helmet at the lockers. And you see as he's walking through the town, he goes to the diner, which is empty. He's like, "Tammy? What's wrong, darling? Where is everyone?" He's like, "Abe, I closed early. Sent everyone home." And he kind of like grabs her for a hug. He's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Earl, I've never seen him like that before, Abe." He's like, "What did he do?" He's like, I don't want you to overreact, Abe." It's like, "What did he do, Tammy?" It's like, "He was furious. It's like, "Did he touch you?" It's like, "No, not quite, but he threatened me and..." It's like, "I'm gonna kill him." It's like, "Abraham, do not do anything stupid." And he's like, "Too late." It's like, "Abe!" You see later at, God, what the hell was his name? Earl's house as he's walking in the door. It's like, "How the hell did you get in here?" "Jeff, I go where I please, Sheriff. You should not have threatened Tammy." Oh, fuck. Oh, I love this. It's like, "You are a mystery to me, Sheriff, and normally I enjoy mysteries, but not this time." It's like, You're under arrest for trespassing." It's like, "No, I'm not. You see, it's you who are in trouble, Sheriff. You've developed too much free will. You've become the one thing I cannot allow here. A supervillain." And you see like Madame Dragonfly just going like all monstrous. There's like her teeth are just going into fangs. You got like this green tongue sticking out. He's just like leaning towards him. Oh, god damn. And you see her just like pointing out her finger, like using this wisp of magic, just like melt and like acidic into like a pile of green goop. And she goes, "Goodbye, Earl Trueheart." Oh, god damn. And then we have issue number 11, Black Hammer double action team up. Golden Gale and Barbalian Warlord from Mars. You know, it just occurred to me as I was going back through this. I wonder if like Gale's whole synonym and everything is supposed to be a reference to comics writer Gail Simone. If like it's supposed to be like an homage, like a reference to her. I'm curious. I have to look up like some more like things to see if that's supposed to be like an Easter egg for it. Which you have the Fury of the Robotanist. I love all of these so much. You have Spiral City. You have Another Day, Another Dollar. Am I right? See you tomorrow, detective. It's like bright and early. Oh, so that's back to when Barbalian was pretending, right? And you see him just like on the roof, like a skyscraper, going, "Another day, another dollar." As he transforms and flies off, and you see him helping out with like this busted helicopter, like flying it off, and you see him like fighting a bunch of supervillains, foiling some bank robberies, helping get cats out of trees, and you see him getting back onto the roof, transforming back into a civilian persona. You have Morning Detective Late Night. It's like you don't know the half of it. And you see as he's walking over to his locker, trigger warning for like slurs and stuff. But someone's written, for homophobic slurs, someone's written fag on his locker. And you see him just looking back as like all of his fellow officers just like smirking at him. And with a thum, he just puts his fist right through the locker door. And you see the next day as he goes back to the church, and Father Quinn, he's like, "I don't think you should be here, Mark." He's like, "I know, I just want to explain." He's like, "Explain what, Mark? If you came to apologize, well, it's not me you should be making your peace with." He's like, "What's that supposed to mean?" It's like, what you did was a sin. It's like, nothing happened. It's like, well, then what you wanted to do was a sin. He's like, "Oh, please, I didn't come here to apologize to you or to God." It's like, then why are you here? It's like, "I'm here because I know you feel the same way about me as I feel about you, Patrick." It's like, "That's not true." It's like, "It is. From the moment we saw each other, we felt the same. At least I had the balls to do something about it. I spent a lot of years hiding behind a mask. I pretended to be something I'm not, and all it did was make me even lonelier. So you can go ahead and keep hiding behind all of this if you want. But I refuse to apologize for who I am." And he's like, I think it's better if you stay away from the church for a while." He's like, "Don't worry, I will. The only reason I came here in the first place was to check you out." And you see back at the farmhouse as Gale's walking into Barbalian's room, and she's leaving a little message to him titled Barbie. Oh, God, man. You see her flying out the window. She goes and lands on the little clearing where the Black Hammer's still lying. God, and you see her like going up to the force field like border, and she like puts her hands against. You see like lightning just flaring out from it, and she's like, "Goodbye." Ah, God damn, man. And you see back in the barn as Abraham's just like sighing as he's like looking over Talkie-Walkie's corpse. You have Abraham? It's like, "Deputies, is something wrong?" It's like, "Well, that depends, Abraham." It's like, "Depends on what?" "What kind of answers you give us. You are wanted for questioning the disappearance of Sheriff Earl Trueheart." And you see outside, I assume the library or in the park, as Lucy's just sitting on a bench like writing in her little diary. And she's like, "Something is very wrong and is getting worse by the minute. I don't even know where to start. But I'm a journalist, so I start how I always start. I watch people." Excuse me. It's like, "This town is asleep. Everyone is just going through the motions. They're like someone's idea of a town. Like a sketch that wasn't quite finished. Everything is in the right place. It all passes at a quick glance. But when you look, you discover there's just not quite enough detail added. A place with no history, a place out of time. I mean, all the books in the library are fucking blank, and no one seems to care? Could this be some other dimension? Some pocket reality? Superheroes deal with that stuff all the time, right? So that kind of science is way beyond me, though. I'm a journalist, not a physicist. Besides, none of that is really what's bugging me. What's really bugging me is that I don't remember how I got here. It's like, this isn't like me. I always get the answers. But this time I don't even know what the right questions are. You see, he's like the same old couple like walking past her with this like one old lady just eating like a strawberry ice cream. And you see him just kind of giving her like a knowing or like calculated look. And Lucy's just kind of like surprised by this. And she's like, yeah, something is really not right here. And you see on the next page, a lot of flashback to Barbalian as he's like walking back to the farmhouse. Jeff, I wish you'd reconsider. You're one of the finest detectives we have. We can't afford to lose you. And Mark is like, thank you, Sergeant. But there's just no place for me here anymore. And again, we see Cien's walking back to the house. You see him again standing on like the skyscraper with like the eagle little stone gargoyles. As he transforms back into like his Martian form, he just flies out of Earth's atmosphere. And as he slowly walks up to the farmhouse steps, he's going up into his room and he sees a note left for him by Gail. And she goes, Barbie, please forgive me, but I can't do it anymore. There's just no place for me here. XX Gail. And she's like, good. And you see the thing like goodbye. She's like trying to walk into the force field. You see at the last minute, Barbie flows in with a no! And he just like scoops her up. And he's like, please! He's like, what are you doing, Gail? He's like, I just want it to end. I can't keep doing this, Barbie. Not alone. He's like, but you're not alone. You have me, Gail. He's like, but I screwed that up too. I thought that you were, but then, it's like, it doesn't matter. None of that matters now. I love you. You're my best friend. So you can't go, because I need you, Gail. Okay? Oh, God. And he's just like giving her a hug. He's like, okay. He's like, let's go home. He's like, home? We're stuck here. We'll never go home, Barbie. It's like, maybe not. But at least, God. But at least we've got each other. And you see him like just walking away. I really do love that. God's sakes, what is this, bro? Jeff Black Hammer's like, welcome to the Mall of Hammer. So you have Black Hammer number 12. Sorry, like the way the number and the 12 were put together, I was saying D12. But you have Spiral City 10 years ago. You have, I'm used to spending days alone in my lab, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm, not much of a public speaker. I suppose I should introduce myself. Many of you probably don't remember me, especially not dressed like this. My name is Dr. James Robinson, but once I was also known as costume hero Dr. Andromeda. And I've come here today, well, for the same reason you all have. I've come to remember, and I've come to pay my respects to a group of the bravest men and women Spiral City and the world has ever seen. Abraham Slam, Golden Gale, Barbalian, Colonel Weird, Madam Dragonfly, and Black Hammer. 3 days ago, they saved us all. Right here in the streets of Spiral City, they fought and defeated Anti-God. We still don't fully understand who this Anti-God was, and we don't know what really happened to Abe and Gale and the others. All we know for sure is that they're gone, and it would seem that they somehow gave their lives to stop the cataclysm. The last thing anyone saw was Black Hammer delivering the final blow and Anti-God exploding in a flash of light and energy. The working theory is that the heroes were enveloped and destroyed in the explosion as well. And you see like this huge crowd in this park like standing up to watching this podium where they have like these little flags draped down behind the podium with like all the figures of the heroes on it. And you see a young Lucy in the crowd like shedding tears along with everyone else. Yeah, when Anti-God first appeared and the cataclysm started, I considered getting my old costume and trying to help. It's like, but I thought I was too old to help. Then I saw Abraham Slam on the news. Same age as me, and there he was running into battle without a second thought. That's what always separated Abe, Gale, and Black Hammer from the rest of us. They never hesitated. They never stopped to worry about themselves. The rest of us were just pretenders in funny costumes. They were true heroes, and to say they will be missed doesn't even begin to do it justice. The truth is the world has changed. It's emptier without them. Something is missing. They are missing, and there's no easy way to replace them. but we will never forget them. And you see like the mourners like all lining up to pay their respects, like dropping flowers and stuff off. And you have Ms. Weber. It's like, yes, I knew your husband. It's like, yes, of course. It's like, you knew Daddy? It's like, yes, Lucy. Dr. Robinson and your father were colleagues. And Robinson's like, and you must be Lucy? Gosh, your dad loved to talk about you, young lady. He's like, he did? It's like, oh yes, I could barely get him to talk about anything else. He was so proud of you. And you must be proud of him too, all he did to save us? It's like, yes, but I miss him. I don't want him to be dead. It's like, nor do I. But he did what he did so that you can have the life he dreamed of for you, Lucy. Heck, maybe one day you can even grow up to be a hero like him, huh? And the wife's like, that's enough. It's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't mean to. So this family has had more than enough of heroes and villains for one lifetime, Doctor. Let's go, Lucy. And you're just like pulling her away from him. And you see with 8 years ago for Parents' Day, you have, my mom works at Spiral General Hospital as a nurse. She works nights a lot. And my dad has the coolest job ever. He's a fireman. That's probably what I'm going to be too when I get old enough. And you have, very good, Eugene. Thank you so much for sharing with the class. Let's see, who's next? Lucy Weber. Ready, Lucy? He's like, yeah. And he's just like kind of nervously walking up. It's like, well, my mom's name is Lorraine and she works as a receptionist for a lawyer in the East End. That's near where we live. She's worked there for 7 years. And he's like just kind of like looking down and sad. It's like, what about your dad, Lucy? It's like, well, my dad died a few years ago. It's like, I know, dear, but maybe you could tell us a bit about him? What did he do? It's like, my dad? She thinks back like Black Hammer just like fighting all these like demons and things. The anti-god. Again, very much not Thanos, a dark side reference. He's like, he was a cook. And you see later that night at the apartment, he's like, how was school today, Luce? It's like, fine. It's like, fine? That's all? What did you do? Anything exciting happen today? It's like, why can't I tell people who Daddy really was? It's like, what? Lucy, you know why. It's like, if people knew that Dad was Black Hammer, then... It's like, then what? Aren't you proud of him, Mom? It's like, I am. He was like the greatest hero ever, and I can't even ever tell anyone. It just feels like we're lying. He's like, you are his daughter. You always will be. Just because your friends don't know that doesn't make it any less true. It's like, I don't care about my friends knowing. I just don't want people to forget him or the other heroes. It's like, no one is ever going to forget them. I loved your father. I loved who he was. It's like, really? Because most of the time you just act like you're ashamed of who he was. It's like, Lucy, just think about it for a second. What if his old enemies found out and came after you? We have to keep it secret to keep you safe. It's like, I don't want to be safe. I want to be Black Hammer's daughter. She like slams her food back down, just like goes in her room and slams the door. And you see again, as she's sitting on a park bench, you have 2 years ago. It's like, I see, you do it too? What the fuck, bro? You see this creepy looking guy just like watching, peering at her from behind a tree. And she's like, excuse me? It's like, the sky. You watch the sky too. Looking to see if they're up there. If they're ever going to come back. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, yes you do, Ms. Weber. You know deep in your gut that they're not dead. You don't know what happened to them, but you know it's not over. And he's like, I don't know how you know who I am, creep, but you better get lost or I'm going to call the cops. And she's like walking away. It's like, Lucy, wait! It's me, Lucy, Jimmy Robinson. I knew your dad, remember? Fucking use. It's like, Dr. Andromeda, of course I remember you. It's like, I haven't been called that in a long time, Lucy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry to approach in such a cryptic fashion, but it was cryptic and then there's peering up from behind a tree like a creepy ass stalker, bro. It's like, I need to talk to you about something very important. It's like, can we sit? It's like, I'm not as young as I once was. It's like, of course. It's like, yes, I watch the skies too, Lucy. Waiting for something. It's like, yes, I don't know what I'm expecting though. It's been 8 years since the cataclysm. 8 years since they disappeared. It's like, maybe that's just it. Maybe you should stop waiting. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, I've been keeping tabs on you, Lucy. You're starting at Spiral U next fall, journalism school. If they're going to be found, maybe it's you who need to start looking. It's like, you really think they're alive? It's like, yes, and I have no proof to support that. Heck, I'm a scientist, so you'd think I'd need some, but I don't know, call it a gut feeling. He's like, I know what you mean, it's the same for me, but how am I supposed to find them? It's like I said, I'm only a scientist. You're going to be the journalist. I don't know what path you need to follow, Lucy, but maybe this can be a start. He pulls out this little envelope. So your father and I became close. We shared a few adventures together before I retired, and he trusted me. He gave this to me in the event that anything should ever happen to him. He said to give it to you when you were old enough. I'd say that day has come. He's like, what is it? He's like, I'm not sure, but I'd say it's a lead, reporter. And you see it's just a note with 1679A Belmont Ave, the little key inside. He's like, won't you come with me, Dr. Andromeda? He's like, call me Jimmy, please. I'll be here if you need me, Lucy, but my adventuring days are over. Now it's your turn. It's like, my turn. Sort of feel like I've been waiting my whole life to hear that. Waiting for someone else to acknowledge that my dad really existed, and I can still be a part of his story. And he comes like this old rundown building. It's like, I don't know what's more surprising. That Dr. Andromeda just delivered this key to me from my dad, or that he actually believes that Dad and the other heroes are still alive out there somewhere. But none of that even began to prepare me for what I found today. He's like, hello? And she comes to like this door, like this red circle with the key symbol on it. And she like looks at it in confusion with a bleep. And she like, as she tries to touch it, you see this like little eye coming out with Weber DNA match detected. You know, whoa! It's like defenses shut down. It's like does a little like retinal scan. It's like with a clung and a welcome. Welcome to the Hall of Hammer. It's like, no way! It's like a little Batman layer. You got like all these tanks with like these aliens floating inside, like all these costumes. It's like the Hall of Hammer? My dad had a secret hideout and he left the key to me? It's like my whole life, all I ever wanted was to know more about my dad. You have the Micro Machine, case number 234, Adventure in the Miniverse. Yeah, well, here it was, just waiting for me. The Undiscovered World of Black Hammer. And, oh Christ, I love it. Venus Flytrap, case number 240. I don't know, it might be 240 something. But Adventures of the Burning Plant, man. Oh, I fucking love that. Venus Flytrap is such a great name. Just being here, I felt closer to him than I had since he disappeared. I knew I couldn't tell Mom about this place. And she goes up to this keypad with like Villain Files number 1. Manaconda, Metal Minotaur, Black Stallion, Tentertoots, Cthulhu. Oh, I love it. It's like, I know she means well, but she would never let me come back here. This place held a lot of secrets, and it had to stay that way. And you see, as she clicks on the thing, you see like this giant monitor like popping up with a bleep and just a little secret between me and Dad. Yeah, hello, Lucy. If you're watching this, it means that I'm dead. It's like, Dad? It's like, I'm sorry, sweetie. I wish I was still with you, but I made my choice a long time ago. I chose to be Black Hammer, and I knew the risk that would come with that. And if you're in the Hall of Hammer, it also means that Dr. Andromeda did what I asked, and you're now all grown up. Lucy, there's a very important reason I wanted Doc to give you that key. You see, this basement headquarters contains every memento, file, and trace of my life as Black Hammer, and I need you to destroy it all. He's like, what? It's like, Lucy, this life, being Black Hammer, I don't want it to ever come back on you or your mom. I don't want any trace left connecting you two to me. I don't regret the path my life took. I'm proud of what I accomplished in this costume. I helped a lot of people and I saved a lot of lives. But I also missed a lot. Standing here now, recording this on the equipment I got from New World, you and your mom are back home. You're only 7 years old now. I have no idea how or when I die, but I do know that I probably missed a lot of your life. I'll never get that time with you back, and neither will you. So destroy everything in this place and leave me behind. Move on with your own life and don't waste another minute on me or on Black Hammer. My life is over, but yours is just starting, Lucy, so go and live it. Goodbye, sweetheart. I'll always be with you, but you need to let Black Hammer go. It's like, let Black Hammer go? It's like, no! I'm sorry, Daddy, but I won't do that, ever. This place and everything in it is a part of you, and now it's a part of me. It's like, besides, I don't really think I'm going against your last wishes anyway, because I don't really think you're dead. And she grabs like a little slot or like key thing, like little electronic like notepad, and then stashes away in her jacket as she's leaving. It's like Dr. Starr said, I just feel it in my gut. You and the others are still out there somewhere, and I'm the one that needs to find you. And now I know where to start. So no, I won't let you go, Dad. I'm coming for you. One way or another, I am going to find you. Alright, with that, we've reached 45 minutes, and I think that is a good stopping point for this week. I guess quick thoughts on this before we wrap up again. Really, really loving Black Hammer. Really, really loving the story so far. No major complaints or criticisms. Like I said, I do love like the different art styles and things that they experiment with, especially the ones who are like paying homages to like the old comics from like the 50s and 60s and everything like that. So I really do love that, especially with the Colonel Weird and Talkie Walkie with like the old spaceship kind of like space hero comic styles. Really, really do love that. I'm very curious to find out what Madame Dragonfly and Colonel Weird's whole shtick is, because they obviously know something that everyone else doesn't, and there's going to be such a reckoning when that secret does come out, with how they've been kind of like deliberately holding everyone else here. So I'm really, really curious to see that. The stuff with Barbalian was interesting, and I'm a little bit, I think that's the one thing I'm like a little bit mixed on, because I don't know how much we're supposed to read into like Barbalian, telling Quinn like, I know you're in the closet and you need to come out and all that. Like, I don't know how much of that is just Barbalian kind of projecting his own thing, being like, I was attracted to you, I thought I feel the same. So I don't know how much of that is just kind of like him kind of what's the word? Being not petty's not the right word, but kind of like, I guess petty's like the closest I can think of. Sorry, my brain is not working right now finding the words. How much of I feel like it's like a calculated attack, like him trying to like just lashing out at him to be like, I thought finally I found someone that understood me, that would finally accept me for who I am. So I wonder how much of that is him lashing out, and how much of it is like him actually knowing or realizing Quinn is in the closet and just being like, kind of just anger and resentment, like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why aren't you being like open with who you are and what you want to be? I think that was like the only thing I'd say I was like a little bit mixed on, is the way it was presented and done. But apart from that, I do really like the relationship between him and Gale, where they're kind of like, the two outsiders are kind of finding solace and like a platonic companionship with each other. So I hope we really start to see more of that. Apart from that, I think what Black Hammer really does well is kind of showcase like the complex showcase how superheroes can be, nuanced and complex outside of just like, being kind of like these vehicles for like, iconic representation, for like being vehicles for like idolization, basically. Because you have the whole thing like everyone being like, Abraham Slam was doing this, like he didn't even hesitate, because that's what real heroes are like. And then we see like the other side of Abraham, where he's like, I just want the attention, I want like, the recognition that comes with being a hero. So I really do love how Black Hammer's giving us like nuanced and flawed superheroes, and it's kind of really showcasing like, if this is what like actual humanized superheroes would look like. So I think that is absolutely my favorite part of the series so far. Next to the pun names of the heroes and villains are also really good, because again, I feel like only someone has like a really deep appreciation for the history of superhero comics and everything would do something like that, would pay an homage like that. So I do really, really appreciate like all the fun little names you're coming up with for this stuff. But yeah, really, really solid chunk of chapters. Looking forward to where it's going to go from here. So like I mentioned in the beginning, I will have read-throughs will be coming back starting this month. So we're getting around to Yona, Battle Angel Alita, Black Hammer, all this weekend. So a lot to look forward to. So like I mentioned at the beginning, if you do like this content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I mentioned, I'm going to try to be more consistent about getting to read-throughs and stuff throughout this year. So if you'd like to support me, that would be really helpful. And until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.